Well, hello there, it's Wild Josh. In this episode, we talk about the best aunt a boy could ask for. That's right, sit back and relax because you're about to learn who's who when it comes to Aunt Beru Lars. Let's start with what we know to be canon. Aunt Beru, or Beru White Sun Lars, was a human female from the planet Tatooine. From a young age, she was known for her excellent cooking skills, especially when it came to her famous blue milk cheese. I bet it was to die for. Too soon? Sorry. It was Beru's dream to open a cafe or restaurant in Anchorhead. Eventually, Beru met and fell in love with the son of a moisture farmer named Owen Lars. Owen was the son of Klieg Lars. His stepmother was Shmi Skywalker Lars. In time, Owen and Beru were married, and shortly after, Owen's father passed away, and they inherited the moisture farm. The pair decided to start a family. Unfortunately, infertility issues prevented that from happening, and they considered visiting a fertility clinic in Mos Eisley. It was shortly after this, though, that their lives would change forever. Beru and Owen became the guardians of their nephew, Luke Skywalker. Obi-Wan Kenobi delivered the baby to their homestead. For 19 years, Owen and Beru raised Luke as their own child. Owen tended to be a little bit more overprotective of him, hoping that he wouldn't follow in his father's footsteps. In time, Luke wanted to go off to the academy, which would have been the Imperial Academy. That would have been an interesting turn of events. Owen fought against it though, but Beru was able to convince him that he could go after staying on for one more season. When R2-D2 and C-3PO arrived on the Lars farm, Luke was tasked with cleaning them up and wiping their memory. Before he got the chance, R2 escaped to find his old master, Obi-Wan Kenobi. He was his only hope. The next day, Luke and C-3PO gave chase. While they were gone looking for the droid, stormtroopers arrived at the homestead, searching for R2 and C-3PO. Owen and Beru were needlessly and brutally murdered by the vile stormtroopers, who then set the homestead on fire. Star Wars Factoid. There's a really interesting quote from Dr. Aphra in one of the comics. It goes, "I guess it's an irony. If the boy was here when the jackboot came down, the Empire would still have a Death Star. But if the family wasn't killed, maybe he'd never have left." That's a really interesting retrospective. Now, for the legend story. There are just a few additional stories that really fill in the pieces in Legends. One example is of Beru nursing Luke back to health after a serious bout of dust fever. Another has Beru pleading with Owen, who is furious at Obi-Wan Kenobi for interfering with Luke's life while he was young and sought shelter in a crate-dragging cave to avoid a sandstorm. At one point, Biggs Darklighter comes to the Lars homestead and stays for a few nights before he checks into the Imperial Academy. Beru even suggested that maybe Luke should follow in Biggs' footsteps. Owen was angry at the idea, but it was too late. That thought was planted in Luke's mind. In another storyline, Stormtrooper Maud Tarek arrived at the Lars homestead with a group of soldiers. They laid waste to the farm and interrogated Owen and Beru. Then Tarek holocalled Darth Vader. Vader ordered the Lars to be executed and watched on his holo communicator as they were. The last story I was able to find had Luke Skywalker coming back to Tatooine to bury Owen and Beru, while accompanied by Leia Organa. They were buried just outside the Lars homestead, and placed on the burial heap was a necklace that Beru had given to Luke when he was just a boy. Star Wars Factoid. At least one shot of Beru did not make the 1977 cut of Star Wars. Before the family dinner scene, there is a shot of Beru filling a pitcher of blue milk from a dispenser in a portion of the kitchen not visible in the final film. Also, a popular production still from the film reveals that the dinner scene was shot, or at least rehearsed, with the family members sitting in different seats than in the film. A more substantial Beru scene was cut from Star Wars Attack of the Clones. After Anakin Skywalker returns to the farm with his mother's body, Beru helps Padme prepare a meal featuring blue milk for Anakin, and has a short conversation with her about Naboo and her own reluctance to travel. Nonetheless, this scene does appear in the film's novelization. A shot of Beru and the Lars waving goodbye to Anakin and Padme was also shot, but not used in the final film. Now for some behind the scenes. In Star Wars A New Hope, Beru Lars was played by British actress Sheila Fraser. Interestingly though, her audio was recorded later at Fraser's home and dubbed over, thus why many thought that the audio in the movie was a different actress altogether. In Star Wars Attack the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, Beru Lars was played by the Australian actress Bonnie Peace. Star Wars Factoid. The character of Beru Lars has existed in one form or another since the rough draft of the Star Wars in 1974. In this draft, Beru and Owen Lars are anthropologists. There is also a character named Klieg Whitesun. In the 1975 version of the script, the Lars own a moisture ranch, but they are the parents of Luke Skywalker's cousin, Leia. In a later version of this story, Beru protects Luke from a violent outburst by Owen. However, by the early 1976 version, the character is finalized and the element of the Lars being killed by an Imperial stormtroopers is added. Well, there you go. You now know who's who when it comes to Beru Lars. Would you like to know who's who about another character in the Star Wars universe? If so, let me know in the comment section below. And also be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel so you'll never miss out on any of our future videos. Thanks for watching and may the Force be with you.